Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we're going to be talking about a game called Sumerian 6. Sumerian 6 is a game very much in the style of like Commandos and Desperados and Shadow Gambit and stuff like that. It's a stealth tactics, real-time stealth tactics game, and it is a game that takes on a kind of, 1930s, 40s. It's very much a you versus the Nazis plus supernatural stuff, and it's very like Indiana Jones, and it's a very fun, cool aesthetic, cool story kind of game like that. So recently, you may have noticed I've been playing Commandos. I played the DLC for that. I was really in the mood for playing something else in the vein of like a Commandos, a stealth tactics game, and I forgot that I bought this game last year and I hadn't played it. Now, what I did find out is this is the same company that made Showgunners. Now, you remember I might have done a video on that a little while ago, and I think this company's only two games are Showgunners and Sumerian 6. And I can say this now, that if this is the only two games that this company has made so far, I like both of them. This one more so, because it is that real-time tactics stealth type game that I really enjoy. So, does Sumerian 6 do anything different to most other games? Not really, but there are some things that it does include that I like a lot. So, for example, in this game you have 6 characters. We'll get onto the characters themselves in a sec. But the coolest thing that this game does is you get XP from kills and from completing objectives and side objectives. And you actually level up your skills. So, for example, you might have somebody who has a knife and it has a fairly big sound radius when they kill someone with the knife. You can upgrade your skill to reduce that radius by 20% or 30% or whatever. Or they might have a gun. You can get a bigger shot size but less sound going when you shoot it. Or a lot of the abilities, they'll last longer. They'll distract the guards for longer. Things like that. This is a really cool idea, because what it means is you get to see those characters grow throughout the story and their abilities become more effective. And so when you get to those harder levels, it kind of balances things out. Like, the levels are obviously harder, but you've still got a little bit of an edge where you can get one up on the enemies, and you're like, oh, I can just about sneak in there now. Whereas when you first had that ability, you kind of have to, like, you know, you don't have that extra 20% like movement on it, or that extra stun duration or whatever it is. But the characters all get these levels up on all of them, and it basically makes your moves either make less noise, longer ranges, stuff like that. But it's a really cool addition to the game. I like it very much. One other little tweak, and this might be in other stealth tactics games, but I don't remember it highlighting it. You can hold down a button in this game to speed up the game without like affecting the speed. So what it means is, if you're waiting for a particular enemy attack pattern, so whether like a soldier's walking around and he's currently on the furthest part away and you want him to come back, you can hold down a button, speed up the game, and get it to where you want it to. Nice little quality of life, but very, very, very cool. But any game like this, it's all about the characters and what the characters can do. So let's talk about the characters, what they can do here. So first off, you have Sid. He's kind of like one of the main characters. He's like one of two. He's a brother and a sister. And Sid is kind of a fairly standard character. He's got a knife for the melee kills. He's got a distraction thing where he chucks it at the enemy's eyes and it blinds them so they can't see. And then as the game goes on, he's actually one of the few characters who gets increased abilities. So his main one, like that for him, is that he can hop onto an enemy, like go into like a ghostly form, hop onto an enemy, they walk around, he can jump off and hide into a bush somewhere else. And then later on he gets the ability to teleport and take a soldier with him, so you can take someone out of somebody's sight pattern and kill them, and that puts them away. So he's actually like fairly standard, but I like him. He's pretty good. You have his sister Izzy, who's probably one of the best characters in my opinion. Has the ability to go invisible, and it only drains when she moves, so she can get around the map fairly, like a bit easier than some of the other characters. She also has like a blinding light thing where she'll fire a distraction down into the view cone of the enemy. They come walking over, they get blinded by it. And she also has a cool ability where she can swap places with a soldier, but it does stun her as well when she does it. So she's very good. Has a bit of a longer kill animation than Sid, but very, very cool idea. Giving invisibility to a character so they can move around is kind of mad. Then you get Rosa, who's got a lot of fun. She is like a scientist, and her whole thing is that she can, like, when she kills people using an injection, their bodies just evaporate, so you never have to hide bodies with her. She also gets the ability to stun people in place, which means stops their view cone. Very powerful tool, very useful for like just taking certain targets out. And then she can also cause people to move by chucking a stink bomb. and then she also can make human bombs. So she can stick like a explosive on someone, they walk up to a group of enemies and bang. She's also like the fact that these 3 characters just off the bat are just very different and have a lot of cool. They all distract enemies in different ways already. Very fun. And then you get, I think it's Wojtek. I don't know how to pronounce the name correctly. He's awesome. He's probably the most interesting character because he is a character that has a couple of moves in a human form and then ends up into a werebear form, which is very, very fun. So his human form is that he has like a standard knife. He has a bottle that he can distract people with, but then he turns into the werebear and he can take down multiple enemies in one attack. He can kill off the harder to kill enemies by himself, and essentially he's just, and he can pick up like 2 bodies at once. He can pick up heavy crates and things. He can't crouch when he's in that form, which is a bit of a problem, but he is awesome and a lot of fun. And I just think like the fact that you get this fun werebear character who can switch between human form and werebear is awesome. You then meet Alistair, who's the dad of the kids. He's kind of like the brains behind the operation. Alistair is one of those characters where I think he in theory is a lot of fun, but not all of his abilities work particularly well. But his whole thing is like his melee thing is he has a shock, like a metal shock hand, and he can take people down with that. He can launch a chain lightning attack, which is utterly nuts. If you've got a group of like 4 or 5 enemies, it just kills them all off like that. He can whistle, which is his distraction. The only problem is the whistle itself doesn't have the biggest radius. If it was a bit bigger, and it might do from like leveling it up, it would definitely help, because I find a lot of the time in this game you whistle, the enemy instantly turns around, you don't really get a time to like whistle and then kind of move. And then his last ability is like a launch pad thing, which is really fun and different. You put this launch pad down, the enemy walks on it, they get flung, but you choose the direction they fly. You can have them fly and hit another enemy in the head. You can have them fly into a bush so you don't have to worry about burying the body. It's really fun in the fact that you have these this tool that allows you to manipulate where you want the body to go. Very, very silly, but a lot of fun. And then the last character, Seed Freak, he is kind of like a psychic character in some ways. So he has a standard knife. He also has like an arrow that he can launch as a long-range kill. And then his main thing is distraction. So he goes into like a astral form. He can distract soldiers. He can scare soldiers. And then, weirdly enough, he gets like an invisibility zone. It's like almost like a camera he puts down. And you get this cone where you can like, your person can start like kill someone in it, drag the body away, and he can remove the zone, and nobody can see what's going on. So they all combined, all the characters are fairly interesting. Sid's the most standard out of all of them, but all of them are very interesting. They're a lot of fun to use. The combination of their abilities, super great. Honestly, really, really fun to just combine what you can with each one. All the different distraction tools and all that. Overall, the game is very fun. I will say, like, that I was shocked at how good the soundtrack is. Soundtrack is flipping awesome in this game. Like a lot of rock music, very, very cool. And the fact that it's theming with Nazis and the supernatural, very, like I said, that very Indiana Jones. The cutscenes are kind of cool. They're like sort of animated, but they're not like fully animated and all of them. You sort of see like the different frames things going on. But the actual story, there's 10 missions in this game, and trust me, the missions, like in most other games like this, are very long. Each one is going to take you over an hour probably on your first attempt, and each mission also has a bunch of challenges, completing it within a time limit, not setting off an alarm, getting all the XP boxes, or doing certain things like that, killing all certain types of enemies. So there's a lot of replay value there. While I absolutely love this game, there are a couple of things that do let it down in just a few areas. One of them is that your characters will get stuck on each other so easily that it can really mess up any plans that you have as a character. So if you're trying to set up positions and one person's trying to get past someone else, they just get stuck on them, and it's like they stick to each other like glue. That's kind of annoying. I wish they were a little bit more slippy on that, because then they could slide past each other. There are other like visual bugs, like certain enemies have like radiuses around them. I've had it where the game just hasn't spawned it, so like can't quite tell. You have this enemy that can see, like, fires out a radar pulse and it can feel you through walls, and the ring around it disappeared, so I wasn't sure how big it was. I've had a few audio bugs when you go into the menu, come back out, the music's still dimmed. You know, none of this is necessarily game breaking. The characters getting stuck on one another isn't great. That's not really what you want to see in a game like this, but other than that, the game itself is these little minor visual bugs, these little minor audio bugs. A lot of it can be fixed with a quick save. You can quick save, quick load, and it will fix pretty much anything. But apart from those things, the game itself is just a ton of fun. I really like games like this, and the fact that now I have a library of Desperados 3, Commandos Origins. We've now got Sumerian 6 added to that. We've got Shadow Gambit, Shadow Tactics. I'm like, this is awesome. As somebody who loves these franchises, especially Commandos, which is something I played a lot growing up, the fact that we have all these games now, and even though I know this is like a year old or 2 years old, I'm like, wow, I'm glad that there are companies that are still making this. Like, it makes me so happy because there isn't a huge amount in this style modern day. Like, people aren't making a lot of these. So it's definitely a game. If you are interested in playing a competent stealth tactics game, then I absolutely recommend Sumerian 6. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it has a lot of character. The dialogue's funny. It's like playing an Indiana Jones movie-esque thing. So it's definitely that vibe. If you like Indiana Jones, you're going to like what they're going for here. It's a cool story, and I genuinely just enjoy the gameplay. Sometimes with these games, some of them like Commandos Origins is probably my favorite in the moment. I like the way that game plays the most. But I would say all of these games I've mentioned, including Sumerian 6, they're all very good and very competent. Anyway, that's going to do it for me today then, guys. Thank you so much for watching, as always. If you like the video, please hit the like button. That helps out a ton. If you want to see more content on PC games or stealth tactic stuff, then hit the subscribe button, stick around. And until next video, I will see you then.